Beautiful animals.
Okay, Brian, let's go fishing. Enough talking for now. We're going to use, again, we're utilizing this tight line technique for a little deeper, faster flow here where if we were using a float, the fly may not get down quick enough or get deep enough into the water to get down to the fish. And really this is nothing too fancy doing this, but it is pretty critical that we learn this tuck cast. And really this tuck cast is nothing more than just overpowering your forward cast and letting the rod stop, and the split shot will just flip over and hit the water first before the line does. And what it does, it just gets the fly to sink more efficiently and get down, get down quicker. So that's where this tight line method comes in. Now, what this allows us is control right down to the split shot. Okay, we're going to feel that split shot tapping, bouncing bottom, and if the fly stops, hangs up a little bit, we'll tighten up, see if it's a fish. Sometimes it's the bottom. So it's a little different than using the float, where the float gives us, again, we've got control to the bobber or control to the float, and we're watching from there. Here, we've got control all the way down to the split shot right above the fly. And in current like this, it's also useful to throw mends at times if we need to, or I'll often throw a curve cast, a little bit upstream. Again, anything we can do to help get that fly sinking as fast as possible. Okay, then I'm going to start picking up, let that start tapping bottom, work it along. I'm in contact with the bottom there. There we rolled up over a little ledge there that time. But you know, every once in a while it's a fish that we get. But again, there's a lot more feel involved in this, where basically, you know, the float fishing is visual. You're watching the float. Although, you know, at times, you know, we've got that bright butt section on the end of the leader, and there's times when, you know, we'll actually see that dart forward if a fish hits real hard. So we utilize, you know, the leader system in this fishing too. Okay, I'm going to make my cast, let the fly sink, and start working bottom. And again, I'm going to keep the rod just ahead of the drift of the line, and I want to try and keep a belly out of there as much as possible to get as much, you know, direct contact right down to the split shot as possible. And you know, that's where the name, the tight line method, comes in. Again, works real well, deeper, faster flows. Okay, and as you follow, you know, we're following the drift along, and every once in a while, make sure you let the fly swing down, you know, through the bottom of the spot that you're fishing, because, you know, these fish will hit on the swing at times, and every once in a while you still want to do that. You know, do that with your floats, do that, you know, with the tight line method too. Just let it swing down through there. Even if you get a little belly on there, every once in a while that will produce a fish for you.
When a fish hits, one of the things we both love to stress is that you need to set the hook in a downstream fashion. Otherwise, you're pulling that fly upstream and right out of the fish's mouth. The next thing you need to do is clear that line. Get the line on the reel. Keep the line under the index finger, put it on the reel, and fight the fish from the reel. That is so important. You'll also notice that when we hook the fish and he starts to run, we keep the rod very high. That's to keep as much line out of the water as possible. All that line in the water can create a lot of drag. Once the fish is closer, we use side pressure. We're not worried about so much line being in the water, therefore less drag, and we can use this side pressure really to help us fight the fish. You get so much more pull by having the rod out your side than over your head. Really important when it gets up close to the fish. You'll also notice that we'll occasionally use our opposite hand to give us a little more leverage. We'll put that hand up on that rod to help give a little bit more leverage and pull the fish in a little bit easier. Once the fish is ready to be netted, it's important when you get the net under the fish to release pressure on that rod almost immediately. Saves broken tippets and etc. Once the fish is unhooked, important to release him safely in the water to be caught again.
10.5 weight that really kind of has almost an 8-weight butt section with a 5-weight tip to it.
Therefore, I've got the sensitivity in the tip to protect the light tippets. I have a much higher landing rate because of that, but I've got the strength in the butt section to make the cast.
You want it, but most of the rod companies do manufacture longer length rods and the proper line weights for this type of fishing.